Interesting top row. I mean, section 0. Best seats in half bar view by Coach Zero today. Darth Vader in a Bama helmet. They're getting ready in Death Valley. They will touch Howard's Rock and come hurtling down that steeper than it looks hill into the roar of Death Valley. South Carolina and Clemson coming up noon Eastern time. That's following us. Well, there is something about a grand entrance that makes a statement. You think about.
Chris, thanks very much. Good afternoon. Where else would you rather be? Are you kidding me? 50 degrees and the sun shining here in Death Valley. Clemson, South Carolina. Might as well be the heartbeat of a fierce rivalry dating back to 1896. Clemson's ROTC's been banging on that drum nonstop since Thursday in anticipation of their date with the Gamecocks. You are watching the ACC on ESPN. ESPN College Football. Today's game being presented by Cars.com. 21st ranked Clemson entertaining their pals, South Carolina. What a pleasure for my first time being part of this rivalry. I'm Steve Levy along with Kelly Stauffer and Dawn Davenport. What an afternoon we have in store for you. This is the rivalry weekend and the rivalry series presented by Jiffy Lube. 106th consecutive year they're meeting. But the key fact here is South Carolina has won the last 5, Kelly. And that's sticking in everybody here in Clemson.
Oh, no doubt about that, Steve. And the thing that I want to see, Dabo Swinney takes the approach. He said this: we live and die with this game all year long. 10 years ago, when Steve Spurrier arrived at South Carolina, he actually had the Beat Clemson signs taken down. He said, we want to win all of our games, not just this one. But this week, this game is the most important game on the face of the planet for these two programs.
Better than 82,000 will be on hand for this one. This is the second longest active rivalry in the nation, surpassed only by Minnesota, Wisconsin, who play their 108th consecutive game later today. South Carolina has won the toss, and they will receive. So we'll have to wait a little longer to see Clemson starting quarterback, the true freshman, Deshaun Watson. Found out about 90 minutes ago, Watson will start, in fact, at quarterback.
It's not a bad scene here today, is it?
This is something I've heard about, man. This is great to be here.
About as good as it gets.
Pharaoh Cooper and Brandon Wilds are back deep. And we are underway from Death Valley here in Clemson. And that's going to go out of bounds at the 1. And that's not how Clemson wanted to start this football game. Starting quarterback for South Carolina is their senior Dylan Thompson, number 1 of the SEC in passing yards per game at about 275 per.
Having a great year through the air. He's going to have a physical run game to go along with him today, but Dylan Thompson has played really well. And the thing that Dylan Thompson is not, most people say he's not Connor Shaw, and that's that run game that they got out of that quarterback position.
And of course, he's going up against Vic Beasley and the number 1 ranked total defense in the country in the Clemson Tigers. After the penalty for the kick out of bounds, South Carolina will open 1st and 10 at their own 35. Single setback is Mike Davis to the left of Dylan Thompson. And Thompson will throw on 1st down, looking right and throwing that way for a pickup of 4 yards to his tight end, Rory Anderson. Take a look at today's impact players, brought to you by Jared, the Gallery of Jewelry.
We have Pharaoh Cooper, who's the do-everything wide receiver. He'll throw the ball and run it today, most likely. Mike Davis, physical downhill. Vic Beasley, if you scheme number 3, you then have to deal with number 50, Grady Jarrett.
Again, it's Davis, this time to the right of Thompson. Actually hands it off to him. And the fake caught the Clemson defense by surprise. Looks like Davis has enough, 5 yards for the 1st down. They'll move the chains.
And Steve, South Carolina's personality offensively starts with a physical downhill run game. The strength of this South Carolina offense coming into this year was a veteran, massive, nasty offensive line with Davis running behind them. And then they will take shots off of play action once they establish that run game.
Davis, the junior, remains the single setback. Fresh set of downs for South Carolina. Good pocket for Thompson, and he'll check it down to Davis out of the backfield, and he's very close to another first down, gain of 9.
And that's exactly what Dylan Thompson is going to have to do today. South Carolina is a control type of pass game with intermittent shots down the field vertically off that play action pass. Clemson likes to play zone defense on the back end, so Dylan Thompson is going to have to be patient and find these checkdowns just like he did on Davis on that play.
Well, on 2nd and 1, you could have some fun here, Kelly, if you wanted to take a shot. Going to change the play at the line of scrimmage. Thompson getting his people ready. 7 on the play clock. And they'll barely get it away with 2 seconds left to snap it. Davis has stopped that time for a loss or no gain. B.J. Goodson coming up from his linebacker spot. And there's a flag.
Demir Bird, the wide receiver, and Alexander, the corner, got into it afterwards. There's going to be a lot of chippiness today. The flag came out with that extracurricular after the play.
This probably won't be the last time we'll meet the referee, Matt Austin, as well this afternoon.
Calling things just like this.
Following the play, we have 2 fouls. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 2 of the defense. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 1 of the offense. Those fouls offset. 3rd down. Each player is their first unsportsmanlike conduct for the game.
It's kind of a slap on the wrist and a reminder by the officiating crew right at the bottom of the screen. Just a slap on the wrist early, Steve, reminding these guys to keep it clean. You can play hard, but we don't want any of that after the play.
Brings up a 3rd down and 1 at the 45 of Clemson. First time we see Thompson under center. Options it to the left for Davis. He's got the first down and then some. He's inside the 40 before Mackenzie Alexander finally came up to make the stop after the gain of 7.
The speed option out to the edge. This is not Thompson's strong suit, and just barely gets that pitch off before Grady Jarrett gets to him. But that's typically with the quarterback a call at the line of scrimmage when you see the look that you like, and executed very well by South Carolina on that play.
On 1st and 10 now at the 39-yard line of Clemson. Thompson facing pressure, lofts one in the air, and he overthrew his intended target, Demir Bird. The series we've talked about, again, owned recently by South Carolina. The last 5 meetings, I mean, they've all been by double digits. The turnovers would lead to the time of possession, you would understand, and winning all 5 games.
Yeah, the turnovers obviously are huge. The time of possession will be important today, and South Carolina on their first drive is possessing the ball really well here.
Here's Thompson again, screens it out to Davis. Good defensive coverage there. Again, it's Mackenzie Alexander making the stop after a short gain of 2.
The linebacker Wiggins was out there with Alexander, but the thing you're going to notice about Clemson, their corners are very, very good tacklers.
Among the categories, Clemson is #1 in the nation is on 3rd down as well. Big test here for South Carolina. Here's Thompson now on 3rd and long. Incomplete to Shaq Rowland, tried the right side. And it certainly looks like the drive will stall.
Shaq Rowland matched up on Gary Peters. Press man at the line of scrimmage, and Thompson was trying to throw the back shoulder fade. But Peters is a very aggressive corner. Shaq Rowland does not get good separation. The collision at the top of that route, the back shoulder throw did not work.
This is that part of the field, though, where you have some decisions to make, even on 4th and 9.
Yeah, it's kind of no man's land as far as a field goal goes. I think Steve Spurrier might call timeout and talk about this further.
You saw the play clock, and the flag flies for delay of game, unless they'll just take the penalty
Delay
and
of
then
game
kick it.
on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Maybe they took the delay of game on purpose there. Buy him some more space, some more real estate.
Well, both teams thought there was a timeout as well. We saw the flag come out.
Clemson has decided to decline the penalty. 4th down.
Little gamesmanship there. Clemson decline the penalty, and both teams thought there was a timeout on there as well.
Carolina will punt on 4th and 9. Tyler Hull is the punter. Adam Humphries is back deep for Clemson. And he'll let it bounce. And Carolina's going to down it at the 2-yard line. We'll get a look at the starting quarterback, Deshaun Watson, for the first time when we come back.
This is the ESPN Rivalry Series presented by Jiffy Lube.
Scoreless early on here in Death Valley. The Tigers and the Gamecocks. Sure, why not have another turkey sandwich? The Thanksgiving leftovers are endless. You keep enjoying, we'll keep enjoying the football, and looking forward to seeing Deshaun Watson, although not from his own 3-yard line to start.
Yeah, backed up situation is not easy to do, but Deshaun Watson makes this Clemson offense different, mainly with his feet, and we'll keep an eye on his mobility. He's wearing a brace. He's more comfortable with that brace than he was earlier in the week, but make no bones about it, the quarterback run game is what he brings to the table.
On 1st down, Watson will hand it off. And the Tigers will get some breathing room out of there after the pickup of 5 on the play out of the shadow of their own end zone. The two quarterbacks, as of 90 minutes ago, we weren't sure who we would see. Would it be Cole Stout or Deshaun Watson? And apparently the knee is just good enough for Watson to give it a go. Big gain out to the 25-yard line, gain of 18. Mike Williams on the receiving end.
Deshaun Watson brings great mobility to this offense, and the quarterback run game is certainly important, but make no bones about it, he's a pretty elite passer already as a true freshman also.
The give on the left side to Artavis Scott, making people miss in big yardage across midfield. T.J. Gurley finally forced him out after the gain of 28.
The Clemson offensive play caller, Chad Morris, is trying to get this run game going, and he has to be creative without giving the ball to Watson. And one way to do it is Artavis Scott on the fly sweep. Very, very well blocked out on the perimeter.
Across midfield. And a fresh set of downs. Handoff to Wayne Gallman, and he's got running room. Down to the 30 of South Carolina. Another 1st down.
Well, Steve, it's amazing sometimes, especially at the quarterback position, where that player comes in and he makes the entire team better. Deshaun Watson is that guy for Clemson. He did it early in the season when he took over the starting position, got hurt against Louisville, came back against Georgia Tech, and he just simply instills confidence in this offense for Clemson.
They send Scott in motion now to the far side. Fake the handoff. And on the Wildcat there, Artavis Scott carried the football himself. They sent Watson in motion that time.
Yeah, once again, the creativity by Chad Morris. Watson went out to the left, and Artavis Scott took the direct snap, faked the fly sweep to his fellow wide receiver, Adam Humphries, and in the end, just ran a power play up the middle.
Now at the 26. That's Chad Morris, the offense coordinator. He's been in the news lately. On the run. Perfect throw is dropped in the hands of Jermon Hopper, and he couldn't pull it into his body. Watson was on the money there.
And Watson came up hobbling a little bit. You can see right there, he's being attended to on the sideline. The first time that he's actually moved a little bit today, and he lands on that left leg. It's the left knee that he tweaked.
So it's Cole Stout to the rescue. The fifth-year senior checks in now. We expected to see both quarterbacks. Maybe not so early, though. Here's Stout off the pump, rolling to his right, throwing and completing to Wayne Gallman out of the backfield. Maybe a gain of 1. Sherrod Golightly brought him down.
Golightly from his hybrid linebacker defensive back position read the screen well, beat the big offensive lineman to the point of attack. But not a good sign if you're Clemson. What we saw out of Sean Watson, the first time they moved the pocket, he landed on that left knee and didn't respond very well at all.
Amon Lakip is on to attempt a 47-yard field goal attempt. And Lakip is short. 2 good first drives, both stall, neither resulting in any points. Still scoreless in Death Valley.
ESPN College Football is presented by Cars.com. All drive, no drama. And in part by Jiffy Lube. Leave worry behind and stop by Jiffy Lube today for a signature service oil change.
Back in Clemson. Better than 82,000 on hand, scoreless early on. We didn't know about Deshaun Watson, whether he was going to play. Now we don't know if he's going to play again today. Dawn Davenport down on the field.
Steve, I'm actually watching Deshaun Watson run up and down the sideline here. He looks to be okay, not limping at all on that left knee. Now, the brace that he's wearing is actually less bulky than the one that he wore at the beginning of the week in practice. He wasn't comfortable with the big one. Head coach Dabo Swinney said he felt good today, and he felt good about playing them.
All right, we hope for his return. Off the fake, they give it to Mike Davis, who was so effective. Second possession for South Carolina. Their opening drive went 8 plays, 28 yards. Got as far as the Clemson 37 before punting.
And Clemson's defense is very, very good in the red zone. They only allow touchdowns at 52%. That's off the hook good, so you have to earn it in every way against Clemson defensively this season.
Did you just go off the hook on me?
I did.
Brandon Wiles is the single setback to the left of Dylan Thompson on 2nd down and 9. Some pressure coming. Thompson gets it away, middle of the field, and is completed for the first down to Shaq Rowland. We're set for our first update in game. Here's Reese Davis.
Steve, good to hear from you. Taco Bell studio update. Ohio State and Michigan after yet another turnover from Devin Gardner earlier. J.T. Barrett finds Nick Vannett for the touchdown. By the way, that pushes Barrett past Drew Brees. 43rd touchdown responsible for this year. 7-0 Bucks.
All right, Reese, thanks on first down. It's a handoff to Brandon Wiles. And he's very close to another first down. Gain of 8 on the play.
Good early signs for South Carolina offensively. Somewhat controlling the line of scrimmage, and they will use both running backs. Mike Davis, 5'9", almost 230 pounds, is a physical guy going downhill. And Brandon Wiles is a big guy as well, but he has a little bit more speed than Davis does.
Wiles' first carry of the afternoon was his 100th of the season, averaging 5.5 yards per carry. And there he is again, just across to the 45, and will be good for that first down. Auburn looks to upset top-ranked Alabama in a rematch of last year's epic Iron Bowl. ESPN College Football. Auburn, Alabama tonight, 7:45 Eastern, right here on ESPN. First down and 10. Saw a good shot of Shaq Rowland split out. And here's Dylan Thompson. Going to keep it himself. And he is buried on the wrong side of the 50-yard line. Tony Stewart got to him.
Steve, I believe that was a quarterback run all the way, and he ran right into the mouth of a blitz. Brent Venables bringing pressure early. It was zero coverage on the back end, bringing extra bodies to try to attack that South Carolina run early in the series.
Loss of 6 on the play. Goes as the first recorded sack for Clemson of the afternoon. Here's Thompson to try to get back the yardage. Across the middle, thought a seam and a beauty to Rory Anderson, the tight end. His second catch of the day.
That was a tremendous throw. Had to go over top of Stephon Anthony, the linebacker that was getting deep in the middle, and Robert Smith was over the top. Watch the depth by the middle linebacker, and almost gets his hand on it right there. Anthony doesn't come up with it. Smith is in good position over the top, and that was a seed early by Dylan Thompson.
Good job by Thompson after getting crushed to come right back in that perfect throw for 24 yards. Fullback in the game is Connor McLaurin. And Thompson throwing. He's got a man wide open. It's Shaq Rowland again. And he's down to the 20-yard line. Dylan Thompson came in needing 176 yards passing to set a South Carolina single-season record. And Thompson is well on his way. Already 58 yards passing in this game on 6 of 8.
And Steve, you're calling Shaq Rowland's name a lot. I think that is his third reception. He's been somewhat in the doghouse. Hasn't played well consistently. Kind of the side kick to Farrell Cooper. Showing up early in this one.
It's Farrell Cooper, speaking of which, and there he is in the end zone out of the wild card. The Wildcat offense strikes for 27.
Very well blocked up front. The center, Clayton Snapkick, is going to pull. You see number 54 getting around the edge, and then it's just Cooper taking it to the end zone. We're going to hear a lot of Cooper. He's kind of the X factor, to say the least. He will also throw it out of that Wildcat formation as well. A very good thrower of the football.
Extra point from Elliott Fry is on the way. Fry 47 for 47 at extra points this season.
USC has the run game going early. Cooper takes it in.
South Carolina scores first. There's Farrell Cooper. Supposedly his ribs were hurting. His ribs appear to be just fine. 27-yard touchdown run out of the Wildcat, giving the Gamecocks the lead.
Because of those bruised ribs, we actually thought we might see less of him in the Wildcat. Not so early, and he is a weapon, an explosive athlete, the Wildcat. But remember, he's a very, very good thrower of the football out of that as well. He has some quarterback in him somewhere.
Landed arm will kick it away. Clemson will get their second possession. Artavis Scott, the return man, out to about the 20-yard line. Cooper does it all, even in individual games.
It's about getting your best playmaker of the football in space, and from that Wildcat formation, he ran it. He can throw it with touch, and he can also catch it in the end zone as well. And what a weapon to have. But offensive football, Steve, is all about finding ways to get the ball to the guys that can do something with it, and number 11's that guy.
A sigh of relief for Clemson. The number 4 is back in at quarterback. Deshaun Watson shrugging off the knee pain and handing off to Wayne Gallman. For more on Farrell, we send it down to Dawn.
Yeah, guys, it's funny. His teammates ask him if he's going to be selling popcorn in the stands because the guy just does everything for them. It's interesting, though. He was actually recruited to South Carolina as a defensive back. So guess what? He can play defense, too. Coach Spurrier looked at him and he said, you need to be on the offensive side of the ball. When Coach Spurrier tells you you're an offensive guy, you go. Good move here.
Steve Spurrier coaching his 400th game this afternoon. Great pocket protection for Watson. Had so much time, and it falls incomplete. Sky Moore and T.J. Holloman were there on the cover.
This is simply a bad decision by a young quarterback. Look at all the time that Watson is going to have, but he has an outlet off to his right that already should have gotten the football. When Watson was playing well early in the season, he was taking a profit early in the series, and that was a good example of not doing it. You have to find your checkdowns when nothing is downfield.
Probably still trying to shake off some rust. Watson's had just 29 snaps in the last 7+ weeks. Takes this snap on 3rd down. Got a man across the middle. Out to the 45-yard line. A 1st down and then some. Found Mike Williams, his wide receiver, for a gain of 27.
Mike Williams is not opposed to going over the middle at 6'4", 210. You can see Watson starts with his eyes to the right, knows that he has his skinny post with Williams to the left, and just throws a rocket in there.
It's Artavis Scott. This play worked the last time. It's going to work again. And this time it's worth 6 points. Artavis Scott, 53 yards, and we're an extra point away from the tie game.
The fly motion, once again, we can go ahead and let it roll, guys. And fly motion, you get it out-leverage the USC defense, but I like the ball handling by Deshaun Watson. Carried out the fake late and very well executed by Clemson offensively.
Alvin Lincoln puts it through. And just like that, we're tied at 7-all. Artavis Scott getting it done. Now has the touchdown lead, his 6th of the season. .226 to go and a big play kind of first quarter. Tied at 7. Clemson and South Carolina.
I think they call that an answer, right? That was a really good answer and very timely for Clemson offensively. Good things happen when number 4 is playing quarterback for them.
Sean Carson is back deep, but wait a second. The onside kick, and this place is ready to go wild. J-Ron Curse is there to recover the onside kick.
You can see it pounding into the ground, and the ball goes up, and Curse literally catches that ball in the air after the one hopper. Pinion, the punter, bounces it off the ground, and then Curse, the long free safety, goes down and gets it. In rivalry games, everything is on the table, and Steve Spurrier did not like that out of his special teams.
See what the officials are talking about.
It certainly went past 10 yards, I believe, and the question is whether it was offsides, but it wasn't called on the field initially.
If J-Ron Curse has some freakish abilities, that's because he's Javon Curse's nephew, you might remember. One of the original freaks in terms of unbelievable athletic ability.
And Curse at 6'4", 210. It has to go 10 yards.
No one's across the line.
No one's across the line, but they can't go back and call that anyway. And and it's well past. It's almost 17 yards, so I'm not exactly. The guy fair kept the.
Since the ball was kicked into the air and never hit the ground, the receiving team needs an unimpeded opportunity to catch the kick.
Wow.
Therefore, we have catch interference on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
See, my eyes deceived me because I thought the kick went into the ground initially and was a one-hopper. But if it goes right into the air, and it did, that ball went right off the tee into the air, and so the receiver can fair catch that or have a chance to catch it without being hindered. And Steve Spurrier knew exactly what was going on. Initially, I thought that ball was pounded into the ground and took the quick hop up in the air, but into the air, directly off the tee. The officials were right on top of it, and South Carolina has the ball in very, very good field position to start this drive.
KJ Brent was the receiver trying to get the fair catch there. That was the onside kick. So the bottom line is South Carolina takes over with unbelievable field position. Shaq Lawson makes the stop. It's a loss of 1 with Mike Davis carrying the football.
Well, this is where Clemson's defense has to show up. One of the best defenses in the land statistically. And the last 5 years when South Carolina has won the game, they've had the better defense. It's not the case this season.
Like Thompson trying to get Clemson to jump. Now they're set. Pitch to the right to Davis. He'll cut it back the other way. There is a flag down as Davis is brought down at the 45 of South Carolina.
That did not look good from the beginning. I don't even know that Davis knew that pitch was coming. It just happened to hit him. You can see right there, it's going to be South Carolina with the hold, but Davis was not expecting that football. Clemson defensively is very disruptive.
Holding, offense number 50. Penalties decline. Third down.
Steve, Clemson defensively is at their best. They attack first down. They funnel you to third and behind the chains. And then they just get after you with Vic Beasley off the edge and Grady Jarrett up inside. You can see the year that Clemson has had defensively. All of that right there on the screen amounts to chaos if you're an offense, especially when you're third and long.
South Carolina 1 for 2 so far on third down. This is 3rd and 11. Here's Thompson throwing into coverage. And maybe Rory Anderson got fingertips on it. And Anderson is still down on the field. Anderson is still down. Corinne Wiggins had the coverage. And they bring up a 4th down.
And Wiggins, from his strong linebacker position, dropped into coverage. This ball was high to the tight end, Anderson. And in the end, he gets dumped right on his melon. Thompson climbing in the pocket, throws that ball off the frame, and Rory Anderson gets upended.
While Anderson's being attended to, check back in with Reese Davis.
All right, Leaves, let's start with Ohio State and Michigan. Game on ABC. Ohio State wanting style points for the playoff picture. That's not going to help. Devin Gardner to Jake Butt. He said Butt late in the first quarter, tied at 7. Georgia Tech and Georgia, Nick Chubb, already with 99 yards. He had a 60-plus yard run to get him on the doorstep. Then he fumbled on the goal line. Jackets recover. Dogs still up 7-0. That's on the SEC Network.
All right, Reese, thank you. That's the first 3 and out we've seen in this game. And South Carolina punted away. Adam Humphries. And it'll bounce and be dropped. Did they get there? They did. Dropped at the 1-yard line. It's a punt of 44 yards. DJ Smith able to make the ball die there.
Well, Tyler Hall hits a moonshot. And a lot of times when punts travel that far, they don't have the backup ability that wedge did. That was impressive. And once again, Clemson with Deshaun Watson at quarterback will be very backed up. That was well executed. And special teams in a game like this where there's a lot of emotion, special teams can play an integral part.
Yeah, who's having a better game than Tyler Hull so far? Clemson has started now at their 3 and again at their 1-yard line. Watson back in there. If you're just joining us, Deshaun did start. Looked like he was banged up. Missed a couple of snaps, but was back the very next series. Trying to get out of the end zone and pushed back in there. They're going to say forward progress. I think they're going to mark him at the half-yard line.
Yeah, forward progress to about 3 inches outside the end zone. South Carolina obviously is going to attack. You can see right there the ball is just out of the end zone line by about maybe 6 inches. I don't know that they're going to give him much more than that.
Jonathan Walton, 28 in white, stepped up to meet him in the hole. 2nd down and 10. Might want to try that play again. They will. They'll hand it off. There's a little more running room out to the 5-yard line. Wayne Gallman able to push it ahead. David Johnson finally stopped him.
Clemson needs to be very careful here, obviously in a backed up situation. And remember the role that turnovers and takeaways have played in this series the last 5 games.
Clemson's turned it over 15 times to South Carolina's just 3. And the points off turnovers in those games, 62-0 in favor of South Carolina. 7-7, first quarter in the books. Rivalry week. Well, after that first quarter, I said, give me some more of that. That had everything. You look at Chad Morris, the offensive coordinator. The timing hardly ideal, but on Thursday night, rumors coming out that Morris will be on his way to SMU, be their head coach. We'll get into that a little bit as the afternoon progresses. Good pocket again for Deshaun Watson. Able to complete. Out for a first down to Artavis Scott. That was a 3rd down play as they switch ends of the field. Get a full team.
I like the way that Watson starts with his head to the left, knowing that he has Scott on a curl route right there. And Scott and Watson have really good chemistry, and they're going to be playing here a long while.
Here's Artavis Scott. 2 big plays already out of him, and there's another one. Out to the 35-yard line before Jonathan Walton got it.
And these are forward passes, I think 3 times right now in the fly sweep. It leaves Watson's hands, goes forward into Artavis Scott's hands. And that would be an incomplete pass if he dropped it, but well executed thus far.
They snapped the ball quickly. That time more of a conventional handoff to Wayne Gallman. And J.T. Surratt made the stop. Loss of 1 by Surratt on the play.
That fly sweep with the forward pass that goes about 6 inches is good for the quarterback's numbers.
And good for Artavis Scott's receiving numbers, if you want to call them catches, which officially they are. He's got 4 receptions for 109 yards already. And we're in the first minute of the 2nd quarter. Watson. He'll throw there, that time out to Adam Humphries.
That was a great job by Watson coming off to his secondary receiver. In this case, his outlet was Adam Humphries. And Adam Humphries is very quick in space, and you could see it on that play.
Surratt, who made the stop, is shaken up on the play. You know, you keep talking about Watson looking off people, secondary receiver. True freshman. I don't know how many true freshmen in a big-time program are already doing that.
Yeah, he's very, very well versed in going through his progressions, and we'll see if Surratt comes back. Very solid, very important leader.
That's trying to become bowl eligible. Up 13-0 Leafs.
All right, RD, thank you. As we welcome you back to Clemson. J.T. Surratt was able to leave the field on his own power. On 3rd down and 1, it's Tyshawn Dye stumbling forward, and he didn't get there.
Gerald Dixon, number 44, comes off the edge, completely unblocked. I'm assuming that was not the design of the play. Off the top of the screen, the tight end was actually trying to work his way across. There was second-year number 81 and just threw a shoe duster, and Gerald Dixon cleans it up.
Bradley Pinion is standing at his own 30-yard line. This is his first punt. And Farrell Cooper, the lone man back. He'll call for the fair catch at the 21-yard line. The unbeaten Seminoles fight to stay perfect in a Sunshine State rivalry showdown with the Gators. ESPN College Football. It's Florida and Florida State coming up 3:30 Eastern Time, right after we're through here on ESPN. I imagine the Gators will be ready to give that their best go. Will Muschamp, his final game as head coach at Florida.
And what's interesting is the last quarterback to actually beat Florida State was Jeff Driscoll. I don't know that he'll play much today, but you might want to work him in there just because of that.
Thought you were going to go Steve Spurrier on me there for a second.
It hasn't been that long.
On first down and 10. Dylan Thompson throwing across his body to Mike Davis. Finds a seam. Able to stay on his feet. Out to the 38-yard line. Speaking of Florida, it was only a couple of weeks ago. South Carolina showed up in the special teams at a blocked field goal. That was a blocked punt in that game as well. It's Davis again on second down. There's the block punt I spoke of in the final 3 minutes. Set up Mike Davis recovering his own fumble for a game-time touchdown in overtime. To force the overtime with Dylan Thompson. The winning touchdown and a football for the fans. Second down and 8 from their own 40. Here's Thompson, pressure right up the middle. Able to avoid it for the time being. And then it'll be brought down and fumbled. Ball is out. Clemson says they have it, and they do. Vic Beasley, of course, caused the fumble. Ben Boulware able to recover.
Well, Beasley gets there eventually, but there's quick pressure up the middle by Josh Watson, 91. And then Beasley has the speed to close the gap. Ben Boulware ends up with the fumble, but that was quintessential Clemson defense. Pressure in the middle. Beasley chases it down and takes the ball away. And remember, Clemson is -12 the last 5 years in this matchup. That's one in their column.
But as Brent Venables, the defense coordinator for Clemson, said, we have the defense here to make a difference in that department. Again, plenty of time for Deshaun Watson. Maybe too much time as Jordan Leggett just dropped the football.
Well, Steve, you mentioned about the time that Watson has, and South Carolina just simply doesn't get pressure on anybody. They only had 12 sacks coming into this game. They're not very explosive up front. And Lorenzo Ward, the defensive coordinator, is tentative to add guys to that rush as well.
By far the best field position to start a drive for Clemson. As Gallman takes it, does his thing all the way down to the 5-yard line. Wayne Gallman, the freshman, a two-time ACC Rookie of the Week with a big gain of 32.
Isaiah Battle is going to make a very, very good seal block on the edge and gives the edge outside to Goldman. That was well done. The big guy, 6'7", almost 300 pounds, moves his feet and blocks well on the edge.
Pitch to the right. It's Gallman. End zone. Touchdown. So the turnover proves costly. That's how Clemson takes the lead. Amon Lakin on for the extra point. Able to boot it through.
A much maligned offensive line did well on this drive. Goldman touches it twice right there, gashes him on the edge, and then really had it easy. Steps into the end zone. Clemson gets on the board.
ESPN College Football is brought to you by Dr. Pepper, always one of a kind, and Game of War. Play free now.
Back at Clemson, South Carolina got on the board first, but when the Tigers score, they score quickly. Clemson's 2 scoring drives, Kelly, how about a minute 15 and 34 seconds?
The importance of splash plays in offensive football.
Sean Carson will let it bounce over his head. Touchback, bring it out to the 20. Send it back to Reese Davis.
Steve, it's been a miserable season for Iowa State, but it's always a miserable November for West Virginia, it seems. Iowa State getting a touchdown pass from Sam Richardson to Tad Ekby. They're up on West Virginia by 7. West Virginia 4-10 in November under Dana Holgorsen. Louisville and Kentucky. Kyle Bowen had to come off the bench. Reggie Bonifant was knocked out of the game. Finds Devontae Parker, and Louisville's on the board against Kentucky. 13-7. It's on ESPN2.
All right, on D, thank you. The Clemson defense asking their crowd to get loud. The number one ranked defense in the nation. Now has a 7-point lead to protect. The throw out to David Williams, his first action of the afternoon. And it's a gain of 4 on the play.
Clemson reacting quickly out of their zone coverage on the back end once again. Very good tacklers on the perimeter. Clemson's corners are not afraid to put their nose in.
3 receivers out to the left. Williams trying to go that way. Nothing doing that time. Carlos Watkins leading the parade.
Carlos Watkins gets off quickly, right up here, kind of standing up inside. Wasn't really set, and it worked to his favor. Robinson, number 53, the offensive lineman, could not find him. That was pretty easy for Watkins to seek out Davis on that play.
Loss of 5 on that play. Brings up a 3rd and 10, and this place is starting to rock and roll a little bit. 3 receivers bottoming the screen. Here's Dylan Thompson. The quick throw over the shoulder. Too high for Shaq Rowland. Couldn't bring it down. Gary Peters on the coverage.
Peters was on the coverage, and Stephon Anthony from his linebacker position was coming right up the middle with that pressure. Dylan Thompson could not step into the throw. Throwing off his back foot and air-milled when that one out wide.
Here's Tyler Hall to punt. If he backs Clemson up to inside the 5-yard line, this would really be something this time. Hall punting from his 15. Adam Humphries will take it at about the 40, and he's dropped quickly by Sherrod Golightly. Now let's take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, this is definitely a fluid situation. We're going to see some movement maybe before the day's through, but go down to number 8. UCLA is already out of there. Georgia's going to have their hands full. It's going to be interesting. A lot of football left to be played, as they say.
I would think there are a whole lot of people rooting against Mississippi State, right? Make a whole lot of 2-loss teams very happy.
Exactly. Get them right back in the mix.
Create a whole lot of discussion. On 1st down and 10. Hand off to Wayne Gallman, who was so big on that last series, the touchdown drive. And Sky Moore able to make that tackle. Moore, a guy everyone expects to be playing on Sundays at some point.
Yeah, and Moore actually brought a little stability to the South Carolina defense. He started out the season at weak linebacker, and they moved him over to Mike so they could play Jonathan Walton and Sky Moore at the same time. They're most two consistent linebackers this season.
2nd down and 6. It's Gallman again. Out to the 45-yard line. He's the workhorse right now. 4 carries in a row.
And going back earlier in the year to the North Carolina State game when Gallman got his first start and really brought a spark to this Clemson run game, but it was in conjunction with Deshaun Watson in that quarterback read game. We haven't seen Deshaun Watson carry the ball yet.
Here's 3rd down and 3. Clemson so far 2 for 4 on 3rd down conversions. Here comes the blitz from the outside. Watson able to get it away to Mike Williams. The 1st down and then some. He's inside the 40 after the gain of 15.
Steve, you noted the pressure is going to come off the right side, and Watson throws to the void to the left side. Kind of the zone pressure leaves the void to the left, away from the pressure look to the right. Well read by Watson.
Watson fakes. Actually does not fake it. Gives it to Octavius Scott. And finally, South Carolina's had enough of that and able to make the stop after a shot.
And you're exactly right. That's the first time South Carolina actually defended this. Watch the touch pass forward. It's actually a forward pass by Watson to Scott. It's been very successful up until that one. Lorenzo Ward likes the way his defense finally defended Scott on that touch pass from Watson.
Yeah, that's a gain of 3. On the 3 previous times they tried that, went 106 yards on that. Octavius Scott now. Off the snap. Hey, you want to get the football in Octavius Scott's hands no matter how you have to do it.
And that's the difference we see with Deshaun Watson currently. You know, he got his knee tweaked. We talked about against Georgia a couple weeks ago. And even though he's playing, he's not running the football, at least yet. Chad Morris is not allowing the quarterback run game to be on the table, but insert Scott to do that from that wildcat position or that touch pass forward on that fly motion.
3rd down and 1. Scott out of the wildcat, and he'll try to keep it and pick up the 1st down. And did he get there? It's close. T.J. Holloman came up to make the stop, and they give him the 1st down.
A lot of pre-snap minutia.
And now he's limping.
Now Scott's coming off. You can see right there. Looks like his right lower leg. And a very good block by Reed Webster. There was pressure inside quickly by South Carolina, and Webster got a hat on it and allowed Scott to just pick up a 1st down.
Watson and Scott, both true freshmen. They could have some real fun here the next few years. Here's Gallman again. Has been so effective. Gallman running the football down to the 12-yard line. 17 more yards for Wayne Gallman. He's up to 84. We're not even at halftime.
Well, Gallman was the spark early in the year, and he's the spark here today as well. Moving offensive linemen from the right side to the left, adding beef to the point of attack, and then Gallman, who has some elusiveness and athleticism, is getting it done in this game in the 1st half.
Watson will dump it down to his tight end, Stanton Seckinger.
And Seckinger is still down after getting dumped. Trying to get off the ground. He's grabbing his left leg. Watson moved a little bit that time to the right once again and had to come down on that left leg. That's a good sign that he handled it much better, but Seckinger stays down after getting dumped. Look at the movement by Watson. Seckinger comes across the formation. Watson gets it to him, and then I think it was a shoulder pad right on the right kneecap. Actually, the left kneecap, and that foot was still down. That does not look good.
While Seckinger is attended to, we'll step out. Clemson up 7, looking for more.
o'clock. Game's on ABC, Steve.
All right, Reese, thank you. Stanton Seckinger needed to be helped off the field, did not look good. As Clemson trying to continue this drive at the 15. Here's Watson running. Watson running. Did he get there to the end zone? Waiting for the indication. And they're going to say he's down short of the goal line. Gerald Dixon Jr. and Sky Moore got there just in time.
Well, how about this for mobility? This is a design pass, obviously, but this is what Watson was doing earlier in the year. It's his athleticism and feet that has made this Clemson offense better. That is a tremendous sign for these fans, and I don't know that that knee was down. I think the ball was stretching very close to that goal line before Watson's knee touched.
And it got him a first down because it's first and goal. Seems to be some conversation. They're going to take a look at it. Dabo Swinney wants to take a look at it.
Then I'm not sure if Dabo Swinney called a timeout so that the officials could take
first time out of the half.
look at it. But typically the replay booth is ahead of the coaches. You very seldom have to burn a timeout because the replay booth has already been there, done that. They're constantly taking a look at it. Is that right knee down? I don't think so. I don't think the right knee ever got completely to the ground before Watson extends into the end zone. That right knee disappears kind of in the shadow. You know what it was is his towel for his hands drugged to the ground, but I don't think it was his knee. To me, the first thing that hits is his hands carrying the football.
And you'll gladly trade a timeout for a touchdown, but the call on the field is that he came up short.
Indisputable video evidence
Of the runner short.
and now the replay booth is taking a further look, so good use of a timeout by Dabo Swinney. Remember, the standard is indisputable video evidence. It was called short on the field, so there has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn this. I'm not sure that knee ever gets down. And the ball, to me, he kind of loses the ball, Steve, right there at the end. But I think the ball is across. I think that's a touchdown. Are you going to take a stand or just kind of blow in the wind there?
The people in the few rows in front of us certainly agree with you, Kelly. They believe it's a touchdown as well.
And it actually appears to be a coach's challenge. You don't see many of those anymore because the replay booth is usually a step ahead of the coaches. Here we go.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Clemson will be charged a timeout and will have no further challenges for the rest of the game.
And so when you hear stands versus confirmed, it just means there wasn't enough evidence to do anything with it. We'll see what Dabo thought of it. I don't think he agreed.
So if you're asking my opinion now, I would say I thought his knee was down, Kelly.
Oh, way to jump out there.
I thought he was a little short. 10th play of the drive is upcoming here. Tyshawn Dye. Again, it is first and goal from about the 6-inch line. And it's Deshaun Watson for the touchdown. He got there that time. Let's see if he gives us the Cam Newton celebration. Can't get up for the pile. 1-yard touchdown run for Deshaun Watson.
A really good push up front by that Clemson offensive line, who have actually played pretty well here in the first half. Clemson has averaged 6.5 yards per run, and just watch the push right here. Typically, lowest pad level wins. You don't see much orange up top. They actually push that defensive line into the end zone.
Late kick on to the extra point. There's a flag on the extra point. See if we have to do that again.
Like South Carolina might have been offsides here, and Clemson's going to decline.
Offside, defense number 12, play decline. Kick is good.
Hey, man, this game has had everything.
Yeah, how about that knee? Deshaun Watson looking pretty good on that play. Thought he got into the end zone there, but paid it off the next play after that.
Steve Levy, Kelly Stauffer, Don Davenport from Death Valley. South Carolina opened the scoring, and it's been all Clemson ever since. 21 unanswered points. And that last scoring drive took just under 5 minutes. The previous Tigers scoring drives were 1 minute 15 and 34 seconds. Sean Carson from the 10 out to the 30, being spun around, still on his feet. And he's finally dropped at the 35-yard line. Some good starting field position now for the Gamecocks. And now for today's Aflac trivia question. What is Dabo Swinney's given name? You know, I went to the media guide for this. I did not see it listed.
I don't know that he has a given name anymore. I think it just got erased from history.
Come on, man, what's on the birth certificate?
We can't find the birth certificate. It hasn't surfaced yet.
Pharaoh Cooper now out of the Wildcat. And out of the Wildcat, he hands it off to Mike Davis. Dropped for a big loss. Deshaun Williams got him, loss of 4.
Well, whether you're out of the Wildcat or not, you have to block somebody. Deshaun Williams just blows up the scheme inside, and this is a changeup, obviously, to bring Cooper in there. We see Dylan Thompson back in now, but Deshaun Watson, or excuse me, Williams got the best of that last play.
5th tackle for loss by this Clemson defense. Pressure up the middle. Thompson avoids it, and just too much air on it. Couldn't hit Gerald Adams. Would have been a big game if he got there.
No doubt about it. And defensive coordinator Brent Venables told me this week that he really liked this matchup, especially inside. But to bring that kind of pressure, Steve, you have to be also comfortable with your coverage on the back end. Brent Venables, we see right there, is comfortable with both of those things currently.
Did you see the green in front of Adams, though? If he could have caught that ball on 3rd down. Not even close. Demir Bird was, let's say, in the neighborhood.
You didn't just play the what-if game with me, right? The quarterback, you bring pressure on a quarterback, and you're counting on if he gets the throw off, it's going to be inaccurate. We saw on the play before. You're right. There was a ton of green grass, but coverage and pressure equaled inaccuracy by Dylan Thompson.
So after that touchdown for South Carolina, they wound up with punt, fumble, punt, and punt again. Hall from the 20. Humphreys, the fair catch at the 35. And the answer to the burning question, what is Dabo's real name? And the answer is, got a drum roll?
Aflac.
Probably something we can't pronounce is my guess, but let's see. Really?
Is that right?
I thought Dabo was going to be short for something.
No, his brother couldn't say that boy. Right. That boy, so he said Dabo, and it became that. So that boy became Dabo, and William Christopher. Interesting. I did not know that. I'd never heard that.
And now you have the Aflac trivia question. Here's Gallman. Another carry for Gallman. He's carried the ball 12 times for 88 yards. Gallman came in red hot, had 523 rushing yards coming into this game, but the bulk of that, 319 of them in the last 4 games. So he's the hot hand. They keep feeding him. Gallman's in the backfield again. Send Leggett in motion. And Watson's throwing. Throwing to Leggett.
Pass is complete.
See if they give him the yardage for the first down. He's like right at the marker at the 45-yard line.
Well, Leggett came across the formation in motion, almost kind of as a temperature taker to see whether the defense was in man or zone. People stayed still, and which means zone to Watson. Leggett just turns around in that zone, and Deshaun Watson find him. That was pretty easy.
Watson goes in motion. Adam Humphries will keep it himself. Humphries out across midfield.
You know what's interesting, Steve, is Watson went in motion, as you said. He got out to the right side and started limping all over again, and Stout is coming in once again. How odd was that? He goes in motion and tries to stop out on the sideline and came up gippy once again. That knee isn't right after that impressive scramble a couple of plays ago.
Cole Stout in there for the second time today. He hands off to Wayne Gallman. And I realize there's 2 minutes left. We're still in the first half, but South Carolina has to be careful. This game doesn't get away from them right now. 21 unanswered by the Tigers, and they're across midfield.
That is a great point, because remember, South Carolina's offense is playing one of the best Clemson defenses in history, as a matter of fact, and one of the best defenses in the country this year. They're going to be very difficult to come back against.
It's Stout going to keep it himself this time. His first rush of the game, and he's out to the 45. He'll move the chains again. Another first down for Clemson.
Well, Cole Stout does not run the football a lot, but it's in situations like that when it's timely and they can get the most out of it. How ironic, Deshaun Watson doesn't run it, and Cole Stout comes in and keeps it.
Here's Stout, throws, and he's picked off at the 40-yard line, intercepted by Sky Moore, and that's just what the Gamecocks needed. The interception bugaboo bites Stout again.
And Sky Moore is just staring down the quarterback. You can see right there the linebacker didn't really have coverage. He was setting underneath those middle routes, and the quarterback Stout did look to the left initially, came back to the right, and just didn't see Sky Moore. Tried to get a dig route in behind the linebacker, but Moore was standing right in the way. Those are decisions that Cole Stout has been making this year. Very poor decisions by a fifth-year senior.
That is the 10th interception thrown by Stout against just 6 touchdown passes.
Not what you want to see out of a veteran at that position.
First down and 10. Big series here for South Carolina. Off the turnover. It's Thompson airing it out. And over the wrong shoulder of Jameer Byrd.
Thompson kind of lets this fade route drift outside a bit. Byrd actually had about a step and a half, or actually about a 1 step on the coverage. If that ball would have been slightly more inside, Byrd could have ended up in the end zone with that thing.
We saw when South Carolina turned it over, Clemson was able to take advantage with a touchdown. We'll see if the Gamecocks can return the favor. Here's Thompson. Gets some pressure, steps up, and now a run. And run into a couple of orange jerseys out of the 33-yard line. Pick up a 7. Stephon Anthony was the first to get him, the leader in tackles for Clemson. Carolina will take their first timeout. A minute left, 60 even seconds. Check in with Reese Davis. All right, Reese, looking forward to the Lexus halftime report. They put 4 seconds back on the clock. If you're scoring at home, there's a minute 4 left. 3rd and 2 upcoming for South Carolina. Would probably be very happy with a field goal. Just get some positive points, make it a little closer before halftime.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think anything that would stop the momentum that right now Clemson would have going in the locker room. But if you're 3rd and 2, you have over a minute and 2 timeouts, you definitely want to get this thing in the end zone.
Elliott Fry, the kicker, his long is 47 yards. So they need to make some distance here. 3rd down and 2. Hand it off to David Williams. And I think he's short.
David Williams.
Grady Jarrett plugging up the hole.
Brings up 4th
Brent
down.
Venables calls Grady Jarrett the best defensive player on his team, hands down, and that's knowing that you have number 3, Vic Beasley, as we see South Carolina lining up to go for it right here.
4th and 1. Apparently not within Elliott Fry's range. They're going to go for it. 11-19 on the season. Thompson will keep it. Looks like the spot is pretty favorable, and he does get the 1st down.
And the second time we've seen Dylan Thompson on that speed option, just attack the end man on the line of scrimmage and run off of him, and Thompson ekes out a 1st down.
Clock is rolling. 23 seconds left in the half. Still have 2 timeouts. Thompson wanted to take a shot there, and now he'll throw it away to stop the clock.
That wasn't exactly good time management. What are you going to do with those 2 timeouts? You can't take them in the locker room with you. You could have preserved probably 15 to 20 seconds before Thompson ends up throwing it away on that play. Not very good clock management down the stretch by South Carolina.
And again, right now it would be a 47-yard field goal. Fry hit a 47-yarder his career long last week. 11 seconds left. Here's Thompson out of the backfield, had a man and overshot him. Wanted to go to Williams, had him wide open and missed.
What South Carolina was doing was free releasing David Williams. Clemson is anticipating that the running back off to the left would have to pick someone up. They free release him. That was a walk-in touchdown if Dylan Thompson could put it on him. Now they're discussing it right there on the sideline. I think that's on the quarterback. Williams was releasing up the field, and Thompson just put it a little bit too far out of his reach.
It's a critical play here from 47 yards away. On the way and good. Elliott Fry matches his career high of 47 yards. And the zeros do not run off, so still 3 seconds left in the half, and we'll have a kickoff. The Oregon Ducks head to Corvallis, take on Oregon State, the historic Civil War rivalry. Some Saturday night football, 8 Eastern on ABC tonight.
I don't like that game for Oregon.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier. What's the problem? What's the trouble?
I think Mannion's going to go off, and you know, you never know what happens in that game anyway, particularly in Corvallis. I'm fearing for the Ducks tonight.
All right, who's your big rival? Colorado State. Who was your big rivalry game?
For the most part, it was Wyoming. They called it the border war, literally right across the border. But in my day, increasingly, it was Air Force because of the condition of their program. But regardless of who it is, these type of games are the funnest games to play in, without a doubt. The bottom line is you have to find someone to dislike, and it's not that hard to do in college football.
Yeah, hating sports, that's a good thing,
exactly.
Right? We don't want it in society. We love it in college football. Landon Arm kicks it off, and that'll go out of bounds. And another flag. Second time we've seen that this afternoon.
Be interesting to see what Clemson chooses to do. That ball will come out to the 35-yard
Free kick
line.
out of bounds. Number 19 of the kicking team. Ball will be placed at the 35. 1st down.
And Steve, we see Cole Stout in the huddle again coming out, and we wonder about the condition of Deshaun Watson. Remember the last time he went in motion, came up hobbling, and Chad Morris is probably going to halftime, as we see him right there on the screen, trying to figure out what quarterback is actually going to play. Is Cole Stout's just simply going to take a knee?
Morris is a guy who said this game is a season in itself. South Carolina Clemson means so much to so many people in this state. The Palmetto Bowl. 21-10. Clemson leads at halftime.
Coach, a little bit of a spark here for your defense there. What do you do to keep the momentum going?
Well, yeah, offensively, we haven't done much since the first couple of drives, so we better find some ball plays that got a chance to work. They're pretty good defense, and our defensive kids are hanging in there.
Clemson able to get things going on the ground. What do you do to stop that?
Well, we're not running well at all. In fact, we're losing yards about every first down, so we got to try something different.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Don, thanks very much. 6 years ago to the day is the last time Clemson won in this series. Now to Reese, Mark, and Lou. Lexus halftime report.
125 years ago, Thomas Green Clemson established Clemson University to make a difference. As Clemson students, faculty, staff, and alumni, this is still our charge: to find new sources of energy, to create better medical implants, to build greener and safer cars, to power big ideas and big research, to teach, to learn, to serve, to win. Today, Mr. Clemson would be proud of the difference Tigers make every day.
This halftime report is presented by Lexus. The Lexus December to Remember sales event is here, now through January 5th. You're watching the ESPN Rivalry Series, presented by Jiffy Lube.
You're watching the ACC on ESPN. After a rather entertaining first half, the Palmetto Bowl. Next year, they'll have a trophy and T-shirts made up. We're just calling it that for now. 21-10, Clemson leads South Carolina. Hi, everybody. Kelly Stoffer. I'm Steve Levy. We'll hear from Dawn Davenport in just a moment. Hope you're enjoying the rest of your Thanksgiving weekend. We enjoyed a big play first half, and much like the start of the game, we weren't sure about Deshaun Watson. Really not sure about him in the second half either.
Yeah, we'll see if he comes out, but the bottom line is Deshaun Watson makes this team better offensively. There's no doubt about that. We can see the first half highlights, and the running game got going. The touch pass to Scott, we've seen a few of those. The creativity in the run game, and then it's a redshirt freshman. The first one, Scott, was a true freshman. And then Beasley chases Thompson down from the backside. The strip fumble, Boulware gets it in. Then Watson, how about the elusiveness testing that knee? He didn't get in right there, but he did pay it off. Then we saw this. He came off limping a little bit. We didn't see him the rest of the half. Cole Stout went in and promptly threw to the wrong guys. Sky Moore picks him off there. The good news is it only sent up 3 points as opposed to a touchdown. And how about the triplets? The youngsters are getting it done, Steve, at an extremely high level. Watson is hot. Goldman is more of the workhorse, and then the touch passes to Scott. Getting your playmakers the ball out in wide open spaces is working well for Clemson in the first half. We'll see if we see Watson here in the second half.
And we're going to we'll find out real early because Clemson's going to receive the second half kickoff. 21-10 in favor of the Tigers, who have not won in this tremendous rivalry dating back to 6 years ago today. Dabo Swinney was the interim head coach at that point. I mentioned Dawn Davenport, and here she is. Dawn, take it away.
Guys, we are going to see Watson. I just talked to head coach Dabo Swinney. He said he's fine. He's going to go this half, and he really likes what he was able to do in the first half. He said he ran the ball well. He looked okay on that knee, so we're going to see him here in the second half. Now, he also said there is nothing less important than the score at half. He is reminding his guys there is a lot of football to be played in this game. Also wants to see his defense force some turnovers.
You know, Don, I wonder if it's a matter of confidence in that knee, to be quite honest with you. Watson still seems like he's test driving that knee brace.
First play from scrimmage. Looks like it's going to be a loss on the play. Loss of 2. Sherrod Golightly on the tackle, and flags fly from every. There's a whole lot of yellow laundry on the field right now.
We only saw one of these, I think, Steve, in the first half.
Yep, a little disappointed.
And actually early on, so I think they're kind of filling each other out early in the half. Hopefully this will be the last one. You were a little disappointed. Was that a hockey reference?
I like a little unsportsmanlike conduct in my rivalries, okay?
When they throw down the gloves and meet at center field, we're in trouble.
Combining a whole lot of sports there in that
Following
last
the play,
sentence.
unsportsmanlike conduct, number 12 of the defense. Unsportsmanlike conduct, 79 of the offense. Those penalties offset. Second down. Both players as their first unsportsmanlike for the game.
And that's the important thing. The second unsportsmanlike, and you're taking a shower. And I meant midfield, not center field. They did not want to bring baseball into this beautiful game here today.
If you got a basketball reference, I think we'll be all set. We'll have gotten the big four involved.
I'll bust out lacrosse here before the second half is over with.
All right, so the gain of 2 on that last play. The penalties offset, just like the first half unsportsmanlike conduct penalties did as well. Watson will hand it off to Gardner, trying to turn the corner. And just barely does. Might have gotten a yard. Back to Reese Davis. All right, Reese, stand by. We'll get to you shortly. We're in the middle of something really good here. Gurley on the stop. Brings up a third down. 3rd and 7. For Deshaun Watson. They're 5 for 7 on 3rd down conversions. And they'll take their sweet time here, checking the play from the sideline.
The average in the 5 for 7 3rd down conversions was 3.5 yards. It's double that on this one.
And now, let's see if we get a timeout. Yes.
Timeout, Clemson.
All sorts of confusion. Clemson trying to get that play in. And they'll be charged with a timeout. 55 seconds into the half. Timeout, Tigers. Back in Clemson, South Carolina, a quick check of the ACC-SEC rivalry scoreboard. And the only game that has yet to start is Florida and Florida State. How about the Seminoles? 27 straight games. They're not beating people up the way they did last year, but all they do is win.
Yeah, and look for Florida's top 5 defense to give them fits tonight. I'm not calling it an upset, but it's going to be a good one.
All right, here's Deshaun Watson. Firing and completing to Jordan Leggett. Sky Moore was there on the tackle.
We saw this once in the first half, and Leggett just goes down into that South Carolina zone on the back end and finds some softness, but what he forgot to do is get first down depth. Watson gave it to him on time, but Leggett just did not get the desired distance.
Farrell Cooper is back deep for South Carolina. Bradley Pinion will punt in the air. Cooper signaling for the fair catch. South Carolina gets the defensive stop. They'll get the football. But first, here's Reese Davis.
Steve, what a weird game Georgia and Georgia Tech have had. It's 7-7, Tech going in, and Justin Thomas fumbles on the goal line. Now, this is the 3rd goal line fumble of the day. Georgia fumbled it twice going in, and Tech recovered. But this time, the Dogs' Damian Swan winds up with the ball and houses it. Georgia has a 14-7 lead. Secure that football on the doorstep, fellas. It's on the SEC Network.
That triple option is all about securing the football, right? I mean, Georgia Tech usually does a great job with that, especially paying off drives in the red zone.
After the first, Clemson 3 and out of the ball game. South Carolina looks to take advantage. And it's Mike Davis on the carry. Gain of 2 on the play. Stephon Anthony made the stop. Told you Dylan Thompson came in needing 176 yards. Set a record single season passing. Now that all he needs is 96. See if he can get a big chunk here against the top-ranked defense in all the land. The defense of the Clemson Tigers.
And here's a halftime adjustment, a true fullback in to try to get that run game going if you're South Carolina. Not a lot happening in that run game in the first half.
Thompson.
Connor McLaren in there at that fullback position.
Davis to Davis, has some running room out to the 40, and that adjustment pays off.
McLaren, the big fullback, comes in at almost 250 pounds. The I formation in 41, seeking out right there. Gets a great block, and then Davis just cuts off of him. That's a good halftime adjustment. Get an extra quick body in the backfield with Davis and/or Brandon Wiles.
McLaurin, the senior from Raleigh, North Carolina. And up for the first down. They'll move the chains out to the 42-yard line. Stay in the eye. Thompson was going to throw, except he is dropped. Sacked back at the 33 by Deshaun Williams. His third sack of the season.
Deshaun Williams was a handful in the first half, and we see it right here, right over the middle. Defensive coordinator Brent Venables said that he really liked his matchup over the center and the right guard, and that's exactly where Deshaun Williams came from, right over top of the center.
Third sack of the game for Clemson. That gives him 42 on the season. Sean Carson is checked in the backfield now. To the left to Thompson. Sneaks out of the backfield. And Thompson doesn't feel the pressure from behind. Fourth sack of the afternoon. That time it's Vic Beasley, the all-time sack leader.
And Beasley doesn't get pressure right away, but what he does is keep the motor running and chases Thompson back from the backside. You can see he took a long track, planted his right foot, and got back to Dylan Thompson. Beasley is as quick as a hiccup, and he doesn't give up on plays.
Third and 24. What are you dialing up here, Coach?
I think something very safe.
Like a draw play. On the ground to Williams. He'll get 4 back. And Clemson's going to get the football back.
That was almost a perfect series if you're Clemson defensively. You attack first down and you funnel them to third and unmanageable, and then you force them to do something like that. Just basically hand the ball back to you with the draw play on 3rd and 24. Vic Beasley is the real deal. He's going to be running the edge for someone in the NFL this time next year.
Fifth punt of the afternoon for Tyler Hall, number 13, punting to number 13, Adam Humphries, but he'll never touch the ball. That'll take a Carolina roll down to the 18-yard line, a 48-yard punt. Received to Deshaun Watson. See what he's got playing. We come back.
Hey, Tiger fans, it's time now.
ESPN College Football is brought to you by Buick. 5 expectation-shattering models, another reason to experience the new Buick. And Jiffy Lube. Leave worry behind and stop by Jiffy Lube today for a signature service oil change.
The SO Club, where a whole lot of Tiger fans go to get fueled up before, during, and after Clemson football games. Welcome you back.
Is that where you took my car last night?
No, we do not want to get into the rental car thing. You had me get into someone else's rental car.
I forgot the color of my car.
Yeah.
I apologize.
And the parking spot. But we'll let it slide. Handoff to Wayne Gallman. And Gallman is pounded back down around the 20-yard line. Jonathan Walton got a good stick on him.
I would expect that South Carolina will do a better job against that run game initially in this second half, made some adjustments. And so you wonder if Deshaun Watson's going to be allowed to carry the football. Remember, in the first half, he came limping off the field a couple of times, and we haven't seen the design quarterback run yet.
Watson handing off again to Gallman. Trying to right side on for size to the 25. Walton got him again. It's going to bring him a 3rd down and 4. See Gallman over 100 yards for the afternoon. We've still got 9 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. 3rd and 3, long 3. Across the middle, nearly intercepted, and Watson was decked after he released the football.
And Watson hasn't gotten up yet, and there he goes. But he threw that one into coverage. Sky Moore, the linebacker, was carrying the receiver down down the field, and then a safety had a chance to get over the top was T.J. Gurley. And then the pressure, unblocked up inside, was Jonathan Walton, number 28. A good sign once again for Clemson fans that number 4 got up on his own court.
Not so good for Clemson fans. Second straight 3 and out.
Back in for the game,
First two in the game before the Tigers. Farrell Cooper's a big play guy. See if he can make something happen here. And it bounces off a Clemson player. And it'll be down at the 30-yard line. Set for an update. RD, take it away.
On the move again.
All right, Reese, thank you. Coming up on 8.5 to play here in the third. 21-10, Clemson. Dylan Thompson, plenty of time to throw. And that would have been a loss. B.J. Goodson was there to make the stop. Davis is better off not catching the ball, though he's shaken up, and Davis is angry.
I think Davis might be angry that he got the ball the way he did from Dylan Thompson. You talked about this strong linebacker, B.J. Goodson, did not even stop in his coverage and then chased 28 down outside and put the wood to him just as the ball was getting there.
Second and 10. Farrell Cooper out of the Wildcat now for South Carolina. All along in the backfield. Straight drop back. Wants it. Throw up for grabs, and it is brought down, but by who? Call it a catch. KJ Brent on the receiving end. Mackenzie Alexander was right there. Looked like a 50-50 ball.
I don't recall seeing Farrell Cooper throw the football this way. A straight drop back, stays in the pocket, and then, oh, by the way, I threw a little finesse over top of coverage to my 6'4" receiver, KJ Brent. That was really good stuff by number 11.
Cooper thinks he's hot. He's going to try to carry it this time, and this time he'll be taken down for a loss of 2. Gary Peters making the stop in the backfield.
And Steve, I think that's what Clemson has to do when Farrell Cooper comes in as a Wildcat quarterback. You have to defend the run first. Force him to throw the football, although he threw it very well the play before, but you don't want him to gash you in the run game.
Hey, Cooper threw a touchdown pass a season ago against Clemson, and he's firing again. Out to Shaq Rowland. And they'll pick up some yardage there. Jaron Curse made the stop.
This is pretty impressive. Throw the now screen out side on that play and throw it on time and throw it accurately. Number 11 at quarterback is a drop back thrower. It's all about a change of plan for South Carolina. We talked Steve Spurrier coming off at the half saying we have to find something to work. Maybe it's number 11.
11 stays on the field, but Dylan Thompson is back out of the gun. Here comes pressure. They pick it up nicely. Batted ball, and it is brought down by Jarrell Adams. Tipped ball, nearly intercepted. Adams got there. It was deflected off of Rowland, and it works out the positive yardage for South Carolina.
Garrett Peters has great coverage on the slant right there. Breaks on it well. Ball gets batted up in the air, and Jarrell Adams comes down with it. The 6'6" tight end went up for the rebound.
Gain of 9 on the play. You get the sense South Carolina's got something going here. A little momentum to switch back to their side.
I think number 11, Farrell Cooper, essentially orchestrated this momentum that we see currently.
Thompson fumbled the snap. He's able to recover and pick it up. Just fumbled the shotgun snap. DJ Reader was right there on the tackle.
Well, Dylan Thompson was doing a lot of traffic control before this snap, and then he just takes his eyes off the ball. You can see just as the ball was getting there, Thompson glanced to his left. The most basic, fundamental things you have to do consistently well in offensive football, and that was catch the snap right there.
Great snap by Clayton Stadnick, calling this one of the best offensive lines in recent Gamecocks memory. That snap was handled perfectly. The dump off to David Williams. And he gets back to about the original line of scrimmage.
Number 33, David Williams.
The inside screen that time by South Carolina. And Williams actually had some room if he could have kept his feet. I think the ball coach is trying to dial one up on 3rd and 13. I guarantee you he doesn't like that down the distance.
27% opponents converting against Clemson on 3rd down. That's #1 in the country. Tough test right here.
Find a way to block that guy.
Here's Thompson, lofting one to the end zone. And again, just cannot hook up with Shaq Rowland. Gary Peters was there step for step on the coverage.
I circled Vic Beasley before that snap, and South Carolina doubled him with 2 offensive linemen sliding out there, but it was still matched up with very good coverage on the back end. And Gary Peters has been a godsend for this defense. They needed a second quarter, and the 5th-year senior has been very, very good this entire season.
Elliott Fry trying to chip away. This from 48 would be a new career long if he gets there, and he does not. Fry was good from 47 earlier. The extra yard made all the difference. And after the miss, staged 21-10 Clemson.
Hey, they're locked up on ABC.
All right, Reese, thank you. 21-10 here, but it feels a little closer than that as Clemson will take over. 1st down and 10 from their own 30-yard line. And it's the play that's worked so good. Artavis Scott ripping off yards. Down to the 10, spun around. Did he get there? They're going to say he stepped out at about the 6-yard line. After a gain of 70.
Yeah, there's signaling touchdown. I thought he stepped out around the 6. I think you're exactly right. He tried to keep his balance. Wow, I'm not sure about that. There were about 3 steps that could have been on the sideline, and it looked like it from up here. Replay officials are going to take a closer look right there. It looked like maybe the right heel came down.
Or was it on the defender's hand?
You know what? I think you're exactly right.
Then you're not out of bounds. Then you're not out of bounds. Ruling on the field is a touchdown.
You know what will be interesting, though? If indeed he did step on the defender's hand, the defender is out of bounds. And so I think he would be classified as being out of bounds. But we're talking about inches. But how about the athleticism by Scott? That touch pass, and then Scott just blew by the defense. Right on the hand of the defender, right there with the right heel. I'm not exactly sure that we've seen this before.
Kelly, if it stands, he'll have 6 receptions, if you will, for 182 yards. That play has killed
After
South
review,
Carolina.
ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
And his 2nd touchdown of the game.
And that's the creative part of Chad Morris's run game today. They haven't ran Deshaun Watson with the design quarterback runs, but how about touch pass to number 3 and let him go to work? And man, oh, live has it worked well today.
Are we really even going to call that a pass?
I think we have to.
Officially, it is receiving yards, and it's a catch, too, right?
The world's shortest pass, 6 inches.
And South Carolina can't defend it.
How about the play by Scott right here? That is impressive.
Clemson leads South Carolina 28-10. It has been a game of big plays. Most of them, as you would expect by that score, by the hometown Tigers.
In those 5 losses, Clemson, I think, only scored 17 points at the most, right?
I do not have that exactly. That'll go into the end zone. So these are big plays, but small passes, I guess.
They are officially a pass. The touch pass by Watson is shoveled forward. It leaves his hand and goes right here. That 6-inch pass becomes a 70-yard touchdown pass. By the way, it was impeccably well blocked. And then Scott's athleticism right here. Do some sidestepping, but you're right. 6 inches becomes 70, and it all goes to Sean Watson's stat. That's pretty good stuff.
You
I would like to know we could do that back in the day.
Because in the box score tomorrow, that's a 70-yard touchdown
And
pass.
we're not telling anybody it was actually 6 inches.
And South Carolina can't do anything there on first down. There is a flag on the play.
The old ball coach is still looking for something that works offensively against, I believe, their best defense that South Carolina has played all year, and maybe
Holding.
by far.
Offense number 1. Penalties decline. Second down.
After we get that call, here's Reese.
Steve, it could be a great day for the ACC against the SEC in the rivalry game. Zach Lasky of Georgia Tech going in. They're going to the fourth quarter on the SEC network. They're tied at 14.
All right, things have opened up a little bit here. 28-10. Clemson leads South Carolina in a game they're playing for the 106th consecutive year. And that pass from Dylan Thompson just behind Jarrell Adams. Good coverage by Stephon Anthony, who does everything well for the Tigers.
And Steve, South Carolina offensively likes to set the table with the run game. And when they don't have the run game, it's like having a blown tire. Nothing else works that well, including their pass game. Dylan Thompson has not gotten untracked here this afternoon.
Third down and 11. They'll get loud again here in Death Valley. Bring some pressure late. Thompson has it picked up nicely. Lofts one down the middle of the field, and it is Farrell Cooper. Cooper had to wait for it just a little bit, and he's finally brought down at the 30-yard line, and that quiets the crowd.
Well, Farrell Cooper ends up matched up on a nickel linebacker in Wiggins, number 12. And if I'm the quarterback and I can find that matchup, that's exactly where the ball needs to go. Good job by Dylan Thompson finding his favorable guy downfield. Number 11 is in the middle of it once again.
First down and 10 at the Clemson 30. Thompson trying to spin out of trouble. He does. Throwing on the run and throwing it away. Monday Night Football. Ryan Tannehill, the Miami Dolphins will be in New Jersey. It's an AFC East showdown against Geno Smith and the Jets. I sell that well?
Aren't you a Jets fan? Like life born?
Impartial journalist, I like to consider myself, but thank you, Kel. Monday, 8:15 here on ESPN and watch ESPN. No other night is Monday night. Hey, the Dolphins still trying to stay alive in that AFC playoff picture. Big game for Miami. Second down and 10. Davis, the single setback. Pressure combo. Set up the screen to Davis. Not enough blockers out in front. Maybe a gain of 1 on the play.
There's Stephon Anthony once again. The linebacker in the middle is going to sniff out the screen to his right side. This is what makes Clemson so tough defensively. They drop into a zone and then react so well out of that zone on the screen on that play.
Third down. Here's Thompson, again trying to spin out of trouble. Does momentarily, and again, they'll throw it away. And they want a flag on that sideline, and they get it.
I think it's Stephon Anthony that had the pressure late. Thompson was throwing this ball away, and then Anthony gives him somewhat of a love tap late, and the official didn't like it. Second time in 2 pass plays that Vic Beasley has let Thompson get outside, kind of okey-doked him out the left door. But Anthony gets to Thompson late. I think this drive's going to be extended because of a bad decision by the senior Anthony.
Personal foul, roughing the passer with targeting. 42 of the defense. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down. Number 42 is disqualified. The play is under full review.
This is going to be reviewed as targeting now is, but remember the definition, forcible contact up to the head and neck area. And you could see the headbutt. I don't know that that was classified as forcible contact, and that's exactly what the replay booth will be taking advantage of.
And that's a great addition to the rule this year.
You're right. You're exactly right. And Anthony did not launch himself.
The ruling on the field is confirmed.
Wow.
Wow, he's right.
I think that was ticky-tack. There was some contact, but I don't think it was forcible. I don't think it meets that definition. And 42 is out of the game, and there's a lot of game left to be played.
The leading tackler for Clemson coming in. One of the critical players. He's gone, ejected.
And he's their blitzer up the middle as well. He's a downhill guy, and we've seen him in the backfield often this afternoon. That is a big turn of events.
And if they get 7 right here, it'll be a huge turn of events. Handing off to Mike Davis. Davis running free inside the 5 and finally stopped out at the 1-yard line.
Well, they attack exactly where Stephon Anthony should be. Right down Broadway is where number 42 is not, because he's out of the game because of targeting. It's somewhat like a new defender coming in coverage. Attack him. They attack the middle of the field.
Here's Thompson throwing. And it's knocked away.
Number 12,
Corin Wiggins able to defend against that pass.
There's Anthony being taken in to the locker room, and that is huge, like you said, Steve, especially if South Carolina can score here. And Farrell Cooper was standing by his lonesome out in the corner of the end zone on that last play, and Thompson just needed to get it around Wiggins, the defender that knocked it down, and they had an easy standalone touchdown.
And for Anthony, what a terrible way to end his whole career here. Ejected. Here's Thompson throwing that one out of the back of the end zone. Demir Bird. But Stephon Anthony with such a brilliant career here, that's the way it ends.
That is heartbreaking.
He'll watch the rest of this game with you here on ESPN. 2 minutes left, third quarter, 10th play of this drive. That was prolonged by the Anthony penalty to begin with. Third and goal.
Clemson is very stingy in the red zone in terms of giving up touchdowns. They have their back against the wall right here.
Thompson going to try to keep it himself, and he can't turn the corner. Brought down for a loss by Tony Stewart. You 4-down territory here, brother?
I think you're right if you want to get back in this. Although it's the defense you're playing against. Like I just got done saying, Clemson doesn't give up a whole lot defensively. I think what Steve Spurrier may be thinking right here is we have to get while the getting's good. We're down here, a great opportunity to get in the end zone. Let's throw down the gauntlet right here and try to get 7.
11th tackle for loss of the game by Clemson. They could use another one here. It's 4th and goal. The play clock you see down to 4. 3. Let's see if they get this critical play away. They do. Here's Thompson. Look at end zone. No. Wanted Shaq Rowland. He was well defended on the play by Gary Peters. Who else? They turn it over on downs. South Carolina comes away with nothing.
Gary Peters on very, very good coverage. And Thompson tried going to the back shoulder fade in the corner of the end zone down here at the bottom. And Peters had just as good a look at it as Thompson did. Or Shaq Rowland, I mean. And the only thing I like, hey, worse than that play is calling that play when the play clock was about ready to go out. Call a timeout and make the most of your opportunity. I don't like that at all. I don't think the old ball coach does either.
A 11 plays, 72 yards, and they come away with 0 points. What they get out of is the field position flips. So Clemson will start from the 4. And Wayne Gallman maybe gets a yard. Take a look at one of the trusted target plays brought to you by Jiffy Lube.
Trusted target. We've been arguing about this all day. The 6-inch pass that becomes a 70-yard touchdown, and this play has worked well. Fly motion. Try to mess with the gap integrity of South Carolina defensively, and Scott has produced on that short pass.
I mean, Deshaun Watson has thrown for 266 yards. Doesn't feel that way. Here's Gallman trying the right side. Scott Moore gets it back. Artavis Scott on those plays, 26, 53, and 70 yards on the plays.
How about that average right there? That's pretty decent. But as Clemson is concerned, that's an extension of the run game. That's exactly what that is. But if you're a quarterback, go ahead and let me claim it.
And you've just seen the final play of the 3rd quarter. Clemson, 28-10 lead, trying to get back in this rivalry series. They're up by 18, going to the 4th. Back in Death Valley, capacity 81,500, yet they jammed in 82,720 today. And South Carolina scored first. Hard to believe, a long time ago they had a 7-0 lead. Find themselves down 28-10. Wow, they get smacked back at the 6-yard line on a 3rd and 1. T.J. Holloman bagging Wayne Gallman down to the turf.
Number 11 comes off the edge and just beats the block to the point of attack. Sam Cooper, 86, was trying to get out there. That wasn't a real good, well-designed play. Holloman just sees the ball in the air on the show of the pitch and just attacks it.
South Carolina should come up with great field position. Farrell Cooper is on the Clemson side of the field. Bradley Pinion from deep in his own end zone to punt it away. Gets some pressure and a little bit of contact. He went down really late, Pinion, trying to sell it, and I don't see a flag on the field yet as Cooper tries to dance away. And Cooper is inside the 40-yard line of Clemson. That's where South Carolina will take over.
South Carolina was certainly trying to get after Pinion, and this was a horrific sell of the contact. There was contact, but you have to go down like now. Pinion is a massive punter. And so he didn't get hit that hard, or he would have been on the ground sooner. But you can't wobble around and then fall to the ground, or the officials aren't going to buy what you're selling.
I think Pinion should be flagged.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a different kind of unsportsmanlike conduct.
Like a flopping rule or something?
Exactly. Took a dive. All right, here we go. Inside the 1st minute, 4th quarter. South Carolina, what are you going to do? On 1st and 10 from the 39 at Clemson. They bring pressure, but South Carolina's running with Mike Davis, and he's stopped for a loss. The unbeaten Seminoles fight to stay perfect in a Sunshine State rivalry showdown with the Gators. We're about 45 minutes away from that kickoff. Florida State. Enough said. 3:30 Eastern coming up after us.
And Florida defense is legit. Winston may not want to wait for the 4th quarter against that watch. He may not get it done this time.
Here's 2nd and 12 now. For Dylan Thompson. Pass is complete. They get some of the lost yardage back. Jarrell Adams on the reception. Still bring up about a 3rd and 6.
Yeah, 3rd and 6, Steve, and I think this is 4-down territory to try to get something going your way. But first things first, this is typically when Brent Venables dials up some heat, and he likes his matchup in coverage on the back end as well.
Thompson changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Getting his people where he wants them. Plenty of time on the play clock. Gets the snap away. Thompson throws the little out. See where the spot is. Nick Jones caught it. Looks just short there.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty favorable spot. He is going to be about 6 inches short. You can see right there. But Jones just goes up and theoretically trying to get third down depth. And Gary Peters breaks on the ball.
And on 4th and 1, they go for it. Let's see. South Carolina thinks they got it. Steve Spurrier doesn't look confident, though.
South Carolina tried to hurry to the line of scrimmage and do the sneak attack, but I don't think it worked very well.
They're going to take a look.
When you're not winning the line of scrimmage, sending your quarterback up in there, he slides off to the left a little bit. Does Dylan Thompson, but he doesn't seem to go forward at all.
Robert Smith filled the hole. They're going to bring the sticks out. And Spurrier was right to not look confident.
I think they actually lost maybe 3 or 4 inches, Steve, on that.
Turn it over on downs. How much longer can South Carolina hang in this game?
Done. Cardale Jones would take over as quarterback, Steve.
All right, Reese, thank you. Hate to see that.
Very disappointing to hear about, no doubt about it.
Clemson football, 18-point lead early on in the 4th quarter. Going to say maybe they'll run some clock. Just keep running the football. Wayne Gallman picking up another first down.
That was the quarterback zone read. I have a feeling it was a design give, but just the threat of Deshaun Watson keeping the football puts that outside defender kind of in no man's land, and then Gallman gets up inside. Very effective nonetheless.
You saw the numbers on Gallman. He's over 120 yards rushing on the afternoon on 21 carries. And you would expect them to run the football, continue running it, unless they do the Artavis Scott play again, which has worked just about every time except that time.
I think that's maybe the second time out of, what, 7 or 8 plays just like that South Carolina's actually defended the play.
At some point, you can't get fooled again.
Yeah, you would think that, but it's all about out leverage in the defense. And when you send that fly sweep, put that guy in motion, and you have the speed of Scott with the threat of the quarterback potentially keeping it, it's been very effective.
Here's Stout in the game. Adam Humphries trying to do something with it. And we get it down to Dawn.
Guys, defensive coordinator Lorenzo Ward told us this South Carolina defense was lacking some leadership, and you really see that down here, a pretty quiet group. You have to remember, this is a defense that last year they had Jadeveon Clowney, and while he was a leader, he wasn't a vocal leader. He was more lead by example. So they haven't had a vocal guy since DJ Swearinger. That was 2012, pretty clear. They still don't have a vocal leader here down here.
Right, Dawn, thank you. Speaking of Clowney, he's already been ruled out for this Sunday's game. Been a tough rookie season in the NFL. So much expected out of Jadeveon Clowney. He's only played in 4 games so far this season for the Houston Texans. Watson throwing from Mike Williams. Incomplete pass.
Williams just running the hitch route outside. It was press bail coverage. They had what they wanted, and that ball was on Williams in a hurry, and he just couldn't quite corral it. Early in the year, Mike Williams had some drop problems, and he got that rectified, and his quarterback, Deshaun Watson, really has good chemistry with both Williams and Scott, but Williams dropped it to the grass there.
Farrell Cooper back to receive.
Number 3, Nick Jones.
Here's Pinion, and flags fly.
Prior to the snap, false start, 10 offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Well, it's about time for Pinion to kind of muscle up on one. He averages close to 43 yards a punt, and he has some green to cover right here.
In case you're concerned, hasn't had one blocked all season long. Fifth punt of the afternoon. Nick Jones take it back and stumbles at the 11 and then is dropped at the 10. 90 yards stare the Gamecocks. Steve Spurrier right in the face. Trailing by 18.
ESPN College Football is presented by Cars.com. All drive, no drama. And in part by Dr. Pepper, always one of a kind.
Back at Clemson. Check of the ACC-SEC rivalry scoreboard for you. And Georgia Tech just took the lead in Athens. ACC looking good. Still lots of football to be played. Handoff to David Williams as South Carolina starts with their worst starting field position today.
And Steve, earlier in the week when we talked to Coach Spurrier, first thing out of his mouth about this Clemson defense was the defensive line is so difficult to handle, and it's yes and amen to that today. That defensive line sets the tone for everything else, and there hasn't been a lot of anything for what Steve Spurrier has called up today.
Got the fullback in, Connor McLaurin. And Dylan Thompson out of the gun. Thompson, too high for his intended target, looking for Nick Jones, who only goes 5'7", and couldn't go up the ladder to get it.
Well, Kellen Jones, the middle linebacker, in for Clemson. The ejected Stephon Anthony was getting depth and forced that high throw. Good play by Kellen Jones filling in for Stephon Anthony.
Clemson takes the timeout. They have one remaining. Celebrating its 8th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets. Allstate makes contributions to participating universities, general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. To date, Allstate has contributed more than $3.7 million in scholarship money. $3.7 million. It is up and it is good. Still lots of time left in this one, but should South Carolina come up short, it would mean a 6-loss season for the Gamecocks, and that would tie for the most losses ever for a Steve Spurrier coach team.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting in the South Carolina football era that has basically been as good as it ever has been in the history of this program because of that man right there, the first one, Steve Spurrier.
Spurrier will turn 70 next April. Take an early birthday present right here from Dylan Thompson. Gets out of trouble momentarily. Floats it, and this time able to complete it to David Williams. And he's got a whole sideline to gallop down. And he is dropped at about the 26. Robert Smith finally got to him. Maybe it was an early birthday gift for Spurrier. Gain of 60 on the play.
And you don't want to blink if you're Clemson. You have to keep playing ball. That was a good avoidance by Dylan Thompson, then an incredibly difficult throw to make. His outlet receiver, Williams, was a running back initially, becoming a receiver. South Carolina needed that play desperately, Steve.
And again, there have been a handful of those plays on the field where they've just missed. That time able to connect.
They have to follow it up with another good play just like it.
Sean Carson in the backfield now. Thompson fakes to him. Thompson throwing, and there's no one in the neighborhood. We told you that Thompson came in needing 176 yards in passing to set the new South Carolina single-season record. And with that last completion to Williams, he's got it and then some. Congratulations, Dylan Thompson, the senior quarterback for South Carolina. Be able to tell the grandkids about that sometime. Right now, he's got some other things on his mind with 9 minutes to go in the fourth and trailing by 18 at the Clemson 25. Thompson screen out to the right. It's Carson. And Carson gets maybe the 10 yards he needed. Kellen Jones did everything he could to hang on.
Well, Carson is a scat back that comes in and what's called a free release. Instead of having protection, he leaks out to the right side and is a quick outlet for Dylan Thompson. And the middle linebacker, Kellen Jones, is chasing from the inside and doesn't have the speed to get out there in time.
Only give him 9, so it's a 3rd and 1 now coming up at the 17 of Clemson.
We've seen this movie before. It didn't go well the last time.
They just spotted the ball now at the 7-yard line of the 8.
There was an extremely late flag for an unsportsmanlike. It would be interesting to hear where that came from. I couldn't.
Clemson sideline has been flagged.
You never know what play's going to turn the tide, and Dabo Swinney understands that. You can't give South Carolina anything.
Urgency at the line of scrimmage now as Thompson changes the play. He'll hand it off to Carson. Maybe a yard. Maybe.
To number 7, Sean Carson.
Deshaun Williams, the tackle. Again, it's Florida and Florida State in about a half hour from now. And tonight, Auburn and Alabama. How good will that be tonight? How about Joe Namath from the fourth coat?
That was awesome.
Lee Corso.
What a throwback that was. Can we get us one of those coats? That was epic right there.
Beautiful.
I bet Lee gets to keep his.
You try to take it away from him, right? Here's Thompson. Some pressure up the middle. Escapes, and they'll throw it away. Deshaun Williams coming at him.
That was a good decision. You don't want to make a mistake down here in the red zone. And how about the big fella right there at 300 Bills getting outside and chasing Thompson, making him uncomfortable and forcing him to throw that ball away in the red zone.
3rd down and goal. South Carolina has been able to hang around in this ball game.
If they want to stay in it, though, Steve, they need to finish somewhere in the end zone right here.
But penalties, ejections, these things have worked in the Gamecocks' favor. And they're in position. Under 8 to play. And another penalty.
I think it was number 1, Bird, that might have jumped early.
Dead ball, false start, 71 offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
It's actually Brandon Shell, the right tackle, and sometimes those offensive linemen get tired of being in their stance. There's so much line of scrimmage, pre-snap minutia, and the old ball coach can't stand pre-snap penalties. They're the worst kind for a head coach.
First accepted South Carolina penalty of the ball game. 3rd and goal. Thompson all by himself in the backfield. Throwing for the end zone, and a man wide open, and it's caught. Touchdown. Demir Bird went up and yanked it down. And don't go anywhere. South Carolina very much in this game.
That's what makes rivalry games so good to watch, is the other team just simply doesn't go away. This is not an easy pass. You can see right there, puts a little bit of air under it and hopes that Demir Bird can go get it, and that's exactly what Bird did. He's only 5'9", but he climbed up and yanked that one out of the sky.
Demir Bird, widely regarded as the fastest player on the team. He's got hops, and he's got hands. We've got ourselves a ball game with 7:49 to go in the 4th quarter. Clemson still leading, but only up 28-17.
28.
You know, foreshadowing a little bit, look down the road at Georgia Tech against Florida State in the ACC championship game. That is going to be a difficult matchup for Florida State if Georgia Tech does not turn the ball over like they are today.
Turnovers have been held to a minimum here. in this game, which has been so prevalent in the series the last 5 games, all won by South Carolina. We've had each team recording 1 turnover so far today. Auburn looks to upset top-ranked Alabama in a rematch last year's epic Iron Bowl. College football tonight, Auburn, Alabama, 7:45 Eastern here on ESPN. Good to see Bram and Sarah and the SportsCenter crew early this morning, live from Tuscaloosa. SportsCenter on the road. SportsCenter is everywhere.
And early, apparently. Yeah, that had to be real early.
Real early. Deshaun Watson comes out for more. Trying to protect an 11-point lead. Under 8 to play in the 4th. Hands off to Wayne Gallman. And Gallman rips off a huge chunk of yardage down the sideline. Finally bounced out at the 42-yard line after a gain of 32.
The tight end, Sam Cooper, is going to come across the formation and set the edge. He's actually going to kick out the defensive end, and then Gallman steps up inside right there. Exactly the way you draw it up on the board, and Cooper sealed his guy, and Gallman makes him pay.
You know, Clemson has been able to protect Watson a little bit with the lead going to other people. Now that this game has gotten much closer, they might have to expose him a little bit. They got to win this ball game here. Here's Gallman. Not much doing there. T.J. Gurley on the stop. So out and about last night, ran into a local, handed me a napkin. Thought it was a phone number. That was a pronunciation guide, in fact. Here's how the locals. Clemson is okay. Just a hint of a P. Don't ever go Clemson. Never the Z. That's like the Ghostbusters. Get out of here with that. It's Clemson, not Clemson.
The things that you can find out being out late at night. I mean, that's good stuff right there. That's a good heads up.
10:15 p.m. local time. You consider that late. Can't all be in bed at 6:30. Oh, here's Gallman now. On the ground. And yanked down from behind, but again, another huge chunk of yardage there. 26 more for Wayne Gallman.
Well, coming into this game, if you would have said a team is really gashing the other defense with a run game, I would have thought it would have been South Carolina, but it's Gallman. 180, what are we up to? 182 yards today. Gallman, and then we talked about the effectiveness of Artavis Scott as well on that kind of fly sweep, forward pass type thing, and creativity by play caller Chad Morris.
Gallman's just been a killer for South Carolina. Just when they think they're back in the football game, Gallman does this. That'll actually hurt his average. Gallman's been averaging 7.6 yards per carry.
A lot of talk about Chad Morris and the rumors out there that this might be the next head coach at SMU. Time will tell, but he's done a tremendous job here. Has a great relationship with Deshaun Watson, and I know whether Morris goes or not, he will hate to leave Deshaun Watson behind. It's more of a son to him. Recruited him since he was a youngster in high school, and he lives right down the road. So that relationship he'll have to let go if indeed he's the next man at SMU.
Pitch out to Gallman. They keep riding him. Gallman down to the 5-yard line.
I like the fact that Gallman stayed in bounds at the end of that play. A redshirt freshman going to the edge sometimes isn't aware of the situation. Not only down in distance, but time in the game, and he got down. The clock continues to roll.
3rd down and 1 upcoming. Late change in personnel for the Gamecocks.
And the clock now is going there for a few seconds. It did stop.
Been feeding Gallman this whole drive. Why not give it to him again? Nice. Watson himself. Dylan Watson, the stiff arm. He's wrapped up and dropped. He got the first down, but they're going to give him even more. Flags on the play there. Jordan Diggs a little too aggressive.
Well, you mentioned Deshaun Watson potentially running the ball or needing to
Personal foul, face mask, 42 defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
And this is the first time that Watson actually keeps the ball on a designed quarterback run. All the minutia to the left, a bunch of big bodies, and then Watson.
Oh, yeah.
You can see the face mask, but Watson bounces it outside. Early in the year, before that knee against Georgia Tech, he takes that one into the corner of the end zone.
Watson came in 3-1 as starting quarterback, getting his first taste of this rivalry against South Carolina. And there's the safer play to go to Wayne Gallman.
Bryson Allen Williams coming from his defensive end position off the right side and gets to Goldman before Goldman can get started. But I don't think Clemson really minds the clock running right here.
Bring up a second and goal. Speaking of Watson's first taste, should he get the win here, only Charlie Whitehurst is the only starting quarterback in this rivalry to have had 4 wins in the series. Think about that. So Watson obviously is a whole lot of road ahead of him, but at least you have the opportunity. Not many guys get to start 4 games in this series. And Watson going for the end zone, and he comes up short.
The only thing better than getting into the end zone for Clemson is that the clock keeps running. South Carolina does not seem interested in using a timeout. Wow, they have all 3 of them left. That's kind of surprising to me.
Second time we've questioned clock management on the South Carolina side.
Exactly right.
6 for 12 on 3rd downs. Here's Watson. Gets there. Touchdown. Clemson.
The old bowl coaches absolutely owned this rivalry game, but I think that may come to an end today. Chad Morris giving Deshaun Watson a hug right there. I wonder if that's going to be one of the last times in an in-game situation.
The extra point is good. Clemson appears to be on their way to taking back this rivalry for the first time in 6 years.
35-21 on ABC.
All right, Reese, thank you. South Carolina came in with a streak of 18 consecutive wins against opponents out of conference. The longest streak in school history. That certainly looks like that's about to come to an end. Clemson came in 26 consecutive wins over unranked opponents. It looks like that's going to continue on. Sean Carson out to the 20 and squeezes out to about the 22-yard line. Again, 6 years ago today, the last time Clemson won in this rivalry. James Davis ran for 91 yards, had 3 touchdowns. Jacoby Ford had a 50-yard touchdown catch. And that day, Clemson was a winner, 31-14. Of course, James Davis' younger brother is Mike, the starting running back for South Carolina today. But it's been a long, it's only 6 years. It seems like an eternity, though, around these parts. Hand off to David Williams. South Carolina seems content to just let this bad boy run out.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think they, to some extent, have had enough, and 3 timeouts left, and they don't act interested in using any of them.
David Williams again, out across the 30-yard line. Again, a 6-loss season, which this will be for South Carolina. Will tie for the most losses in a single Steve Spurrier coached season. And the bitterness of that 6th loss, it's not just the 6th loss, it's their arch rivals who they have owned in the last 5 meetings. It's Williams again. We come up on the final 90 seconds. The Oregon Ducks will head to Corvallis to take on Oregon State in the historic Civil War rivalry. Saturday night football. Oregon State tonight, 8 Eastern on ABC. How many more Oregon games does Marcus Mariota have in him?
I don't think many, to be honest with you.
Headed for the big show. Fumble, ball's out. Looks like Clemson has it. Are they going to say he was down? The initial call is that he was down. Jarrell Adams coughed it up, and they're going to say he was down first.
Forward progress may have stopped. I don't believe that he actually went to the ground. Boulware, number 10, breaks on the ball right there. That ball was out very early. This certainly can be looked at, which it will be. That ball came out early. I don't agree with that.
Timeout, Clemson. The 3rd and final timeout of the half. The 30-second timeout.
This worked for Dabo in the first half. He called timeout. Replay booth had a chance to take a further look, and they reversed the call. And I think this is a fumble. Boulware is pulling that ball out, and then the big boy Josh Watson, 91, catches up with Adams from the inside. Look how early this ball comes out, Steve.
Doesn't even seem close.
I mean, Adams is still fighting for forward progress. This is a fumble.
Also interesting, right? South Carolina running the football, not using their timeouts. Clemson wants every edge. They don't care.
Exactly.
There's only 50 seconds left. They want the football. They don't care they're up 35-17.
Maybe that's reminiscent of having lost 5 of these in a row. I think you're exactly right. But the replay booth surely has taken a look at it, and I think they got it wrong. That's a fumble.
South Carolina retains possession. Final 50 ticks left. Thompson will swing it out to David Williams. And the clock will continue to roll. Again, coming up, Florida and Florida State in the bottom of the hour. Some 6 or 7 minutes from now, depending upon the quality of your watch. And tonight it's Auburn and Alabama. Alabama's trying to stay in that #1 position as we get into the first ever college football playoff. Thompson again. Hits Sean Carson. He'll stay in bounds. And that'll do it. Demons exercised here in Death Valley. After 5 consecutive losses in this heated rivalry, Clemson finally beats South Carolina. And they do so 35-17, rather convincingly. And here in Clemson, they storm the field after every win. But these are special wins, no doubt. They've been wanting this one for a long, long time.
Thank you to Bear fans for attending today's game and for all your attendance throughout the season. Let's join the Tiger Band and celebrate as we sing the Clemson University All-Star.
Dabo Swinney's senior class, 5 wins against the SEC. What a class this has been. This is their 41st win, the most in school history for this Clemson senior class. Thanks again to our great crew here at ESPN. Working the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Clemson finally gets the best of South Carolina. Coming up next, college football scoreboard presented by Honda. Back to the capable hands of Reese Davis.